Is Overwatch really that different from Overwatch 1? This seems to be a question a lot of people in the community are asking lately, and for good reason. When you look at the game, it looks exactly like Overwatch 1. In today's video, I'm going to really try to go over what the differences are between Overwatch and Overwatch 2, just so you guys can have a little bit more feel for what's going on looking from the outside in. Now let's go to the simple answer and put it bluntly, Overwatch 2 is pretty much Overwatch 1. It's just stupidly updated. Basically, imagine if they didn't take a 2-year break on giving us updates and they actually updated the game. It's probably what the final result would look like. However, I can't really deny the fact that the game is vastly different. Starting with the elephant in the room, you got 5v5. Overwatch 1, you had 6v6. 2 tanks, 2 healers, 2 DPS. Now in Overwatch 2, you have 5v5, only 1 tank, 2 DPS, and 2 support. With this change, our tanks are a lot more tanky. They can take hits, they take crowd control less effectively, they can basically be unstoppable monsters, making it a lot more fun to play, and I'll tell you from experience, I enjoy it. It's not just a game of who can break whose barrier down first. It is an actual game where you can make some frags, make some plays, and overall just have a lot more fun. But with these changes come a lot of things that people are asking and a lot of people are complaining about. And starting off with supports, people are complaining up the wazoo about supports, and I kind of don't blame them. They're seeing things like tanks get these big changes, their health are changing, like Reinhardt's getting 2 fire strikes, his power steering on his pin, Diva's got some changes, Wrecking Ball got changed, and even Doomfist is a tank itself. Now you have DPS like Sojourn, a new hero coming out. DPS have a passive of moving faster. Everything overall is just in the tank in DPS's favor, or so it seems really. Now I'm going to try my best to explain what I have noticed and what I have played myself in the support role. Is it has changed. It's changed a lot actually. It's just something you can't see. It's not like physical stats you can look at. But there is one major thing that some people tend to overlook or they mention but kind of brush over, and that is supports do get a passive. Each role in this game gets a new passive. So DPS gets a slight movement buff. All tanks are resistant to stuns and other crowd control. And supports have passive healing. All supports. Now I understand a lot of people's frustration though. They feel like they are absolutely garbage or it's just not fun anymore. It's just gone downhill. But I believe supports actually have the biggest change overall. Again, it's not a stat you can see or a physical ability, but it's the play style as a whole. You're gonna have to change the way you play as a support. Now, by no means am I a support main at all. I usually play DPS or tank, but I am enjoying the support role right now because it's more of a DPS style. You can't just sit there and heal bot anymore. You can't just sit there and heal your tanks and just heal. You have to be a DPS as a support. I played a game of Moira, and obviously I know Moira is probably the best, or if not one of the best supports in the game, and I played her as a strictly DPS. I was just doing damage, fading out of situations where I felt like I was about to get smashed, and if I noticed anybody was on critical, especially my tank, I would keep them alive real quick. Mainly, I almost got tunnel vision and going DPS mode with a support, and guess what? I went about 40 kills and 2 deaths. Now granted, this is just quick play, so those stats really don't matter, but you get what I'm saying. This is a different role altogether. Tanks still do tank things, DPS still do DPS things, but support has changed the most. So as 5v5 has switched up the way we play now, I feel like people's gonna eventually catch on and get used to it. Now again, this is subjective, this is just my opinion, but I believe it has gotten better. The only thing I can understand is, again, there is no specific stats or changes to supports that you can physically see or feel, making it feel less fun. And when you play Overwatch 2, you're like, this is exactly Overwatch 1, except I'm getting my butt handed to me by the Genji. But overall, I feel like let's try to do some different kind of strategies, different play styles, and eventually I might even try to make a support guide later on. But obviously, because we're in beta, things can change. New heroes can come out, so I'm gonna leave that for now. If you're enjoying this video so far, please do me a huge favor and smack that like button, as it helps get this video out to a broader audience and helps grow the Overwatch community. Now moving on to tanks, this one's gonna be pretty short and sweet, but tanks just feels like a tank should feel. Yes, you're one tank, You can't peel anymore though to help your supports because you're doing less tanking. Going back to supports, you're gonna have to change up your playstyle a little bit, be a little bit more offensive, defensive by yourself. Maybe those supports have to peel and help each other because you don't have an off tank to come help you anymore. The tank is the only tank. There is no main tanks, there is no off tanks. They're just tanks now. And the way Overwatch 2 implements tanks is perfect in my opinion. The only downside to it is the ridiculously long queue time. Hopefully they have an answer for that eventually, but as of right now, it's still, at least the games are better quality. I'm not waiting on a trashy game, I'm waiting on a fun game. Now DPS honestly feel the least different, but at the same time the most different due to only one tank. And by that I mean less shooting barriers and more fragging, less double shield bull and more getting plays, getting that awesome play of the game where it's actually skill and not always, you know, whose ults can we get first, whose ults will charge first, who's got this or that. It's actually who's got skill and who can utilize that skill to make plays. But overall, it doesn't feel like DPS is the anchor. It still feels like it's a team game where everybody's got to help each other. I mean, if Genji wants to get an awesome play of the game, he's still going to need Ana's Nano Blade and maybe some tanks to make some space for him. As of right now, Sojourn is not stupidly overpowered, but she's very high reward for players that actually know how to aim and can utilize her skills to her peak potential. The game doesn't feel 100% balanced, but it feels so much better. It feels refreshing, but again, it's not Overwatch 2. I believe when we think about Overwatch 2, we need to be focusing more on Overwatch 2 as in the storyline, the PvE that's coming out. I mean, they said it themselves, to make us happy, they had to separate the PvE from the PvP. And what that means is we had to get Overwatch 1.5 as people joke about it, but that's not really wrong. I mean, the game, yes, I feel like when I play it, I'm like, yeah, this is still Overwatch. It's just a better Overwatch. This should have been done a long time ago, I understand, but it's still Overwatch 2 now. That's how it is. Now, once the whole game is released with PvE, I feel like it's going to make more sense, but outside looking in, you know, people that haven't played it, that are just looking at streamers play it, or people that are returning from a couple years ago, I can understand where the confusion's coming from, and trust me, it frustrates me a little bit myself, but once you play it, I'm telling you, it is stupid fun. I hope more and more people hop on board. Now, I'm still mind blown that we hit 1.5 million viewers on Twitch in the Overwatch community that one day. Right now, obviously the numbers are like depleted to absolutely nothing, but I am very hopeful for the future. I know this video was kind of out there. I just kind of want to share my opinion. New videos coming out shortly. I'm gonna make a video on supports, tanks, and DPS separately. They're gonna be more fun, like meme videos. But anyway, guys, I hope you enjoyed the video. Make sure to hit that like button, subscribe if you are new, and I will catch you guys in the next video. Peace out.